Wonderful. Well, welcome to today's call. And our topic I am so excited about sharing is I'm using oils and Young Living products with our kiddos as they get ready to go back to school and ourselves, because we have some teachers and counselors here in the chat box already, and mamas and grandmas and aunts and all the things. So we're excited about this. Our panel for you tonight, can you give me that first slide, please? Here's maybe the next slide. Sorry, my bad. Our panel for you tonight, we are an experienced group of mamas who are going to be talking all things about how we've used Young Living in our families. So we have people who have used essential oils in our products in home schools, public schools, private schools, Waldorf schools, international schools. We've schooled all ages of children, from little ones to all the way up through college. And we're going to be sharing today all about how to use those just to make this time of year a little bit easier for you and your family, your loved ones, your kiddos, a little bit less hectic, a little bit less stressful. Just let's do it with grace and ease, right? Let's make this transition of using those oils, getting into that new routine for fall, super easy. So especially to our South African families who started homeschooling today and all across the world, we have great tools to help you. So I'm going to pass the slide real quick over to Leanne, and she's going to talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I have a 14-year-old and a 20-year-old boy, and I started using oils as a family about 9 years ago. And one of my primary motives was to start using non-toxic products at home. And I was already using non-toxic products, but I was standing in the aisle in grocery stores reading all the labels. And when I decided that, all I really need to do is find a company that I trust and that doesn't have toxins in them, and that's where I'll go. So the important thing for me was that as I started to find out that bioaccumulation in little bodies is a real thing, and research shows that most babies now, all babies, come into this world already having toxins in their body. And it affects their growth, their brains, their hormones, and also, we are in a society where, and me as much as anyone here, was fed all the quick fixes. And so we used a lot of the things for my little babies' bodies, and including steroids and nebulizers and all of that, that had a lot of effects on my children that was not what I wanted to see. So I had to go down that route to really understand that this is not what I want for my family. So let's go to the next slide. And Amanda, is this you?
Yes, it is. Thanks, Allie. I can help with the pinning if you need to. So I want to get started. And my family at home right now, I mentioned my youngest in our introduction earlier, at home is 10, and it's our entire life he's been using oils. But I also have kiddos who were a little bit older when we started using oils. And I want to go ahead and take a second and just cover some essential oil safety, because if your kiddos have not maybe grown up using Young Living, or you're not very familiar with using essential oils on kiddos, we just want it to be as safe feeling for you as possible. All right. So again, wherever you are at, I can't imagine a single day without using Young Living on my kiddos. And I know that some people get a little bit scared. Maybe you've Googled something and you're a little bit worried. I'm going to go ahead and put just a blog spot really quickly into the chat box. Hang on one second here. Allie, did I unpin the video there? Okay, I can't hear you. I want to talk a little bit about safety.
Did you want to share that? I didn't know if you want to share that on the screen. I can't see anything.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Okay, no, I was gonna put it in the chat box as you're talking.
Okay, perfect.
You're doing a great job. I'm really thankful for you. She's like, I can help with that. I'm like, I'm so thankful you're gonna do that with us. So I'll put, when I get done talking, I'll put a safety post from Young Living in here, but I want to talk about some big tips as we go into using essential oils. The first one is slow. And I look at this the same way I talk about like starting baby foods. You go slow and you introduce them one at a time so that you know how they do with it, because that way you got this ability to adjust. Like maybe you go, one drop is a lot for some people, but 3 drops might be, barely enough for another person. So as you kind of do that, you introduce them slowly one at a time so that you know how they're handling the oils and you're letting their body kind of adapt to it. Another thing is that you watch for hot oils, and hot oils, things like peppermint, canoe, thieves, and oreganos. Those can feel really icy or hot to the touch, and that can cause irritation to the skin. And you want to especially avoid those around the eyes. You want to be sure to always wash your hands with soap after applying the oils. And, my husband will sit and he'll put a hot oil straight on his skin, but a little kiddo maybe cannot communicate with me how that's feeling to them. So you might want to pre-dilute those. Just a really very basic, easy way to remember dilution. And some people don't dilute on their kiddos at all, but they've, again, grown up with it and that's how they managed it, right? So everybody needs to do their own thing here. A very safe place to start would be 1 drop of essential oil to a tablespoon of carrier oil. And Lori, can you type in the chat box what a carrier oil is so we don't stay there? And you might want to do it in a roller. You might want to do in a jar. I like to label them. I would say that's 0 to 1. Very, very safe. 1 drop essential oil, 1 tablespoon. And then after 1 to 5, if you still want to dilute, you might want to go 1 drop to 1 teaspoon. And so that will be a very, very, basic, easy to remember, start safety way. I also want to talk about sun oils real quick, because it is summer for many of us and we're out in the sun every day still. And even when they go back to school. So you want to avoid oils that are citrus based, photosensitive, to the sun. Sorry, Ellie, I'm so sorry. Ellie, your face is pinned, which is awesome, except okay, so all right, never mind, fix that. All right, so avoid those photosensitive ones. So like your citruses. Now, everybody can react differently, again, how fast your body utilizes those oils, but don't put them on and then go out in direct sunlight. So if you're using something with citruses, something like we're going to talk about today, like peace and calming, you probably don't want to put that on the skin directly where the sun shines. You can put it either under the clothing, bottoms of the feet, or maybe be using it aromatically during that time. So those are some of my safety tips, but we're going to move real quick into the 3 ways to use essential oils. So if you can pop me to the next screen. The first way that we can use essential oils is topically. And this is one of the ways that makes really great sense for our kiddos. When oils are used topically, they get absorbed and they act quickly and powerfully. And so your skin is your largest organ, and applying those oils to the skin just can work anywhere in your body really, really quickly. Some ways that you can use oils topically. You could use them. We were just talking about putting Raven down your back or rubbing oils on the bottom of your feet. My favorite way to use oils with my kiddos is like a massage. And so I might make up some oil with carrier and rub them into their feet, or we rub them on their tummies, wherever it is that we are going. Leanne, I know that you wanted to share about how that topical use has really helped your kiddos.
Yes, so we all know that touch is a really great bonding agent. So for us and our children, and with my boys, I've always massaged them, and even now at 14 and 20, they're asking for massages. I'm literally the masseuse in the house, even with my husband. But I thought they would not want to be touched by their mom when they reach middle school age. But I just got home from a weekend away and I asked my son, what did you miss about me the most? And he was like, your oils, give me a massage now. So I just wanted to really encourage you, like even through the teenage years when they don't want you to touch them, they come back to it and they want more. So
I just love that so much, because I feel like that's that bond that Young Living, opening up those oil gateways, and the oils that we're using in those moments are going to be precious for that bond. And so it's such a bonding thing. Perfect words. Okay, the next way to use essential oils is internally. Now, sometimes people are like, oh, I don't know anything about that. And I just want to encourage you that we use essential oils internally all the time. They are additive products that maybe you drink, or like toothpaste that you're using. One of our favorite supplements from Young Living utilizes essential oils, and we take them internally. Young Living has made it super easy for us to know which ones can be used internally. So this white label is labeled, it's called a vitality oil. And when it says the word vitality, that means very, very safe to use internally. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's other oils that you couldn't get directions on using internally, but boy, I love this fast and easy guide. They're the same oil in the bottles. This one's just labeled for internal, and this one's labeled for topical and aromatic usage. And so as we walk through some of these today, you'll see us use the word vitality, and that's so that you know, just there we go. Just for ease of use. Once you buy it, like for instance, if I bought this bigger bottle, it would be a better value for me, right? So then I could refill this. It's the exact same oil, but the directions for ease of use are there. So internal might be in a supplement. You could take it in a veggie capsule. I love to add essential oils to foods, and so do my children. They love, my 15-year-old loves experimenting as he's like marinating on the grill this summer. We've been having some super fun ways to use it internally. And the last way is aromatic. And I think, again, this is going to be another one where we really can talk about our kids getting good benefit. This is excellent for purifying the air, boosting our mood, and creating a healthy atmosphere in our homes. You can use all kinds of diffusers. We're going to highlight some of my favorites today, like this beautiful owl for our kiddos. But that tip, aromatic, can also, it doesn't have to be in a diffuser. It could be as simple as a drop on their hands, cupping it over their face and breathing it in. What does that look like at school? It might mean applying it to some clothes so that they can smell it on the go, or maybe on some jewelry, paracord jewelry for our boys, whether it's on the neck, leather jewelry, stone jewelry. Those all absorb and hold that scent very, very well. And that can really help in the classroom and outside of it. I do want to go ahead and give you just a little bit of a disclaimer. So this information that we're going to talk about today is for educational and informational purposes only. And really, we want to empower you to start seeing some great opportunities to benefit you and your family, but you also need to do your own research and maybe work with a healthcare provider. And we don't have anything evaluated by the FDA, and we don't diagnose, treat, cure, prevent disease. You can read the little disclaimer down there on the bottom. I just want to kind of warn you, there can be lots of things that you read about on the internet. It can get kind of crazy, whether it's talking about oils on your kiddos or oils on your pets. So make sure that you're using a really, you can go ahead and switch the slide and I'll pass it. All right, we're going to kick off our day with a morning routine. We're going to start with Leanne.
Okay, so a lot of kids are really excited or nervous the night before. Sometimes they have less sleep, and we want them to wake up fresh and calm for school. So what I do is I go in and I actually have, like even a calming oil in my hand, and I say, good morning, time to wake up. I diffuse lemon, peppermint, or citrus fresh. That really helps the body to wake up to a nice energizing scent. A breakfast is absolutely necessary. Sometimes they just want to drink. I can make a protein smoothie, but Ningxia Red is what's going to really support their body for a healthy mind, overall health. And before they leave or put their socks on, I definitely put thieves under the feet and any other oils down their back or on their clothes or on their chest, depending on if they need particular support for their respiratory that day or particular support for their nerves, peace and calming. And I think Ali has something to add in here too.
Yeah, so I was just going to say that I think thieves is so important for making sure that you have healthy kiddos, keeping them well. But Endoflex is really an unsung hero. Actually, maybe not with people that I talk to because I sing about it all the time, but it'll stop a toddler in its tracks from crying. And it's amazing at balancing hormones really at any age. And then I also was going to share a story about Valor and first day of school for a little kiddo who was really struggling with nerves. And the first day of school, actually the first week of school, he wailed and cried and wailed and cried. And I walked by the classroom and asked the teachers if I could let him smell my bottle of Valor. He immediately stopped crying and never cried again. So that was pretty amazing.
I love that. And I think, did you guys talk about the one tip you do before they go out the door, Leanne? I know that you are a big fan of every single day keeping them all the healthy that we can do. But I have to share with you real quick here as I pin myself. You guys, every time they get better and better with Zoom and what it can do, and I get a little bit busier. We want to talk about those tips that they can even just take with school. So I want to throw out to you that if you have a kiddo that is having that, I love what Allie had educated her teachers so that they knew the power of oils. All right. So if your teachers are maybe seeing the power of essential oils, it's also certainly possible that they could keep the roller for something like their Valor, like their Endoflex, or like their Thieves in their backpack or in a locker where they could reapply it if they feel like they need to during the day, if you don't have a supportive teacher. So I thought it would be really kind of fun in the chat box, share some of those big wins about being able to work with a teacher or work with the avenue of being able to reapply or do those sorts of things at school. I know that when you're diffusing those things like lemon and peppermint at home as you're studying, it helps you retain the information and be bright and focused. How great would it be if they could use those same smells, maybe on a bracelet or something as they go into a testing situation to smell and then have that great application. Allie, when you get a second, can you flip me to the next slide? So I literally have been so excited about using oils for emotions. And I think that we can get a little bit distracted about keeping our kids super healthy. Our kids are so overwhelmed with those things where they're shaky or uncertain or anxious. And that's building up in these kiddos right now. So before they leave for school, that Kid Power right there, before we started the class today, Kid Power was absolutely one of my favorites. I smell like this probably all the time. My husband will be like, what are you diffusing? And I'm like, oh, it's oils. Sorry, that's my dog. Allie, are you nearby?
I am.
I'll let you take over. My FedEx guy's here.
Sure. Yes. So if you've never smelled Kid Power before, and if you've never smelled Valor before, it's hard to explain. Valor, many people say smells like blueberry, but to me, it's like maybe a little bit of an earthier blueberry. And Kid Power is basically vanilla inside of Valor, and it just smells amazing. These are some of the great oils that we have listed here for first day jitters: Peace and Calming, Kid Power, Valor, Joy. And for the parents, I mean, we need support too, especially if you've got a kiddo going to a new school and you're nervous about it, or a kiddo going to school for the first time. We have to, also support our own bodies and all of that. So I think next we have focus, and I think this is my slide anyway. So I have a kiddo who has extreme difficulty with focus, and he's crazy smart, and he is crazy active. And unless you're really engaging his brain, he has a really hard time settling down. And so we have had just the biggest blessings with oils. In fact, in preschool, when I started using oils on him for focus, I actually had a teacher say to me, I have no idea what kind of reward system you put in place at home, but this kid is a different kid. And I said, there ain't no reward system that would make my kid calm down. These are essential oils that are calming my kiddo down so he can settle himself in class. So there are so many options out there. The ones that work best for us personally are vetiver and cedarwood work amazing, which, by the way, is my favorite sleep combination. Just it settles the brain, right? Genius is a blend that was made for that purpose. Brain Power is really a powerful blend. I highly recommend, especially for adults. I love diffusing it in my office when I need to get things done. And then you can experiment. So if you have the essential oil starter kit, not the kids starter kit, there are several oils in there that are really good for focus: citrus fresh, lemon, lavender, peppermint. Really just you can play and see what works best for you.
I love that. And as we go to, actually, we're going to stay on that slide one more second there, because as we go to start talking about things like homework and things of that nature, you may need to settle down and refocus when your kiddos get home from school or when they're doing their everyday material. And one of the things I use So Peace and Calming is the oil that got me into Young Living. I had 14 kids at home when we started with Young Living, and I homeschooled, and some of them were really distracted. So we put Peace and Calming in the diffuser. I'm going to tell you that worked like a charm. But as my kids got a little bit older, we switched to Genius and Orange, or Genius and Citrus Fresh, or Genius and Tangerine, whatever we kind of had back there, that a little bit of citrus in there. It's invigorating. It's Lori, put how many kids you have if you're going to do that. So don't distract me. But diffusing brain power helps with that focus, but it also helps with feelings of confidence that they can learn the materials. It can be uplifting. I like to throw citrus into almost everything, and it just really supports mental clarity, and it's invigorating at the same time. You need that little boost of refocus and re-energizing as you come back to, study time or things like that. So whether it's homework time or you need focus for the day, and I love to put some of these in rollers and just really let the kids be empowered. I do want to tell this really quick story of my first time applying Peace and Calming to my kiddo. And he'll go nameless here, but it's a green bottle and his name starts with a G. And I went after him and he didn't like the smell of it. And he's like, don't touch me with the green oil. But after only a few times of using the oil on him, maybe tackling him, give me some grace. I have 5 boys in a very close range, and rubbing them on his feet. He then started carrying that green oil with him, and I labeled it with his name also. So it is a beautiful aroma that will, Genius just makes good sense for all kids for homeschool or homework time alike. Okay, we're gonna move on now to some upset tummies and Leanne. So Peace and Calming and focus and attention and school time was my get into oil story. Leanne, this is your focus.
Yes. So, my son, who's now 20 years old, when he was 7, he literally stopped wanting to go to school. His teacher called me and said he was in the bathroom all the time. And what really made us focus on his health was when he threw up in front of everyone at a party at school. We started to realize that he was eating foods that were rejected by his body. We had to experiment with all sorts of things. He had high yeast counts. So he was a legit case of toxification from eating foods like gluten and dairy that he could not digest, and was actually, what we realized later, the source of his asthma when he was 2 years old. So all of that in his little body right up to he was 8 or 9, and I then embarked on a wellness journey looking for all sorts of things to help, and finally arrived at Young Living, which helped us move from not being a thriving family to one that thrives today. Digize being the one essential oil that really helped putting it on his tummy, diluted, and I like to circle it around clockwise to follow the direction of the food within our colon. And also on the feet, and also with the raindrop training I like to do it also as a VitaFlex up and down the shins. And my boys started to really also love tummy jives, because that has a really nice, almost smells like bubble gum, right? The spearmint flavor. And in all my research, the healthy gut was the biggest thing. And I had to add, and we added all sorts of probiotics. And when Young Living came out with Mighty Pro, that was such a great way to just allow them to, again, take responsibility and take one sachet every single night. And the Mighty Zymes, it's nice and chewable, giving it to them after meals. Also reinforces within them that they are in control of what happens in their tummy, and they can be empowered to really take care of themselves. So yes, the Mighty Pro is the kids probiotic. And the great thing about that is that it also has prebiotics, which then is feeding the good bacteria within us. So yeah, Ali, next slide. Okay, so I will continue with how we stayed healthy because once we started using Young Living, within 6 months, we had a big move, an international move, and we went from San Diego to Tokyo, Japan. My son, younger son at that time was just 6, and we had just come out of this period of him being, as Lori says, on the unattendance list for like literally a third of the year. And I was getting really discouraged. And again, it was kind of our healing journey at that time because they were both ravaged by just, accumulating toxins in their body. And so the essential oils helped, like the digest really helped them to slowly detox from that. Once we got to Tokyo, I was determined to make sure that as we were exposed to a new environment, new school environment, new germ environment, that we would have all the tools to stay healthy. Well, the truth is, in those 3 years in Tokyo, my boys made it through, thrived right through it. We honestly was really grateful that they have a Young Living office in Tokyo. So we continue right on with our monthly box. And yeah, using thieves every single day in the morning on their feet. And we also, on occasion, whenever needed, I would use a teaspoon, actually half a teaspoon of raw honey with a drop of thieves vitality, a drop of lemon vitality, and a drop of frankincense vitality. And they loved it because the honey makes it all sweet. And I am a true believer that we don't need to give them yucky tasting things that in their mind is like, oh, healthy is yucky. So this practice of using essential oils is also another way of reinforcing in their psyche that staying healthy actually smells really good. So the hand sanitizer, taking it to school, putting it in their backpack with a little cute holder, as well as walking into the classroom, offering the teacher to replace whatever they're using because it's cost effective with the Thieves hand sanitizer has also been a great strategy for me, where now my children don't have to be surrounded by the artificial fragrance that comes out of that. I know Allie's children uses Inner Defense. I haven't been able to get mine to use it because of the capsule size. And definitely Raven, RC, any of the eucalyptus. My children love inhaling that and putting it on their chest. Allie, did you want to add anything in here?
Sorry. I thought you were going to tell me to change the slide. Yes, I think there's just so many options with oils, but I think everyone knows and loves Thieves and Raven, which come in the starter kit. But we have so many great ones like Imu Power, which smells awful, but really is a powerhouse. Exodus. We just have so many options. God gave us so many plants to stay well. We just have to use them.
I love that. And honestly, that's really one of the things that have been crucial for our kiddos because they can learn better. Leanne, quick before we switch over here, can you talk for just a second about tummies and how that, because tummies connects to that staying healthy so much. What does your routine look like as far as, do they get a Mighty Pro or enzyme every day before school plus the roll-ons? Is that kind of what you're doing?
Yeah, so in the beginning, we definitely did a lot of the Mighty Pro to start to rebalance their body and twice a day. And now it's just once at night. We like to take the probiotics at night, actually.
Okay,
And
that's
so,
the good.
yeah.
Is that for every, like I take my Life Night at night, but I've been giving the kids Mighty Pro in the morning. I think this is one area where homeschoolers, like we're just not as exposed to much. So I feel like this is an area where I can really learn more from you guys about things you deal with in the schools. Heidi, you're going to talk to us about something else you deal with in the schools that maybe us homeschoolers get a little off the hook for, aren't you?
Oh, I am. Yes. So whether you know it or not, Young Living has some incredible shampoo. And the one thing I love about Young Living is that you do not have to worry about any of the ingredients in any of their products, any of their products. And not only that, but these are infused with essential oils, and the products themselves, the non-essential oil products, are held to the same incredibly high standard that the essential oils are. So here you see the Kid Sense shampoo. There's also Copaiba Vanilla. There's lavender volume shampoo, and there's lavender mint. And if you haven't tried the reformulated shampoos, you are really missing out. So right now I'm loving the lavender mint. The mint is really just super invigorating and my kids love it. They've been using this shampoo for about 10 years now. Yes, when we start school, now we homeschool, so we don't necessarily normally go through this, but we had a vacation Bible school in late August when I was living in Germany. And, that's kind of one of those times when kids are all back in the same space, and you can kind of see where I'm going. If you think about heat and lots of people in the same area, and think about healthy hair. Yeah. So, we got a notice and immediately started to use the shampoo rigorously. We were evaluating my children's scalps, if you kind of get where I'm going. We put all of these oils in there: tea tree, lavender, peppermint. My kids were a little freaked out, to be honest. And so we actually added thieves. I don't know if I'd recommend, if you add thieves, just recognize that it is very tingly. Thank you so much, Allie, so much. That's a big, massive hint. So then there are also some awesome oils right there. What I love about the essential oils is, I'm losing my words to be able to say, they support the body's natural ability to keep the environments clean and clear. We actually even use thief spray. My kids love that. I know this is not thief spray, but it's about this size, the portable size of the thief spray bottle. And we put tea tree and peppermint in there, and they were spraying their scalps just about every chance they got. Poor things. We had to not go back. It was not our family, but our family did come home with a little gift from Vacation Bible School. And so then we embarked on this. We had to wash all of our sheets consistently. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. We use the Thieves laundry soap and the Thieves cleaner, actually undiluted, and purification oil. I mean, when I get freaked out by things like that, I tend to hit things a little hard. And so I definitely did, but we were able to nip it. We were able to nip it with all of our essential oils. Yeah, absolutely, Lori. Like I was joking with my kids about that. And of course my daughter was like, no, not happening. Yeah, we hit it hard, but let me tell you, these oils really do set up a conducive situation for healthy hair. Now, beyond that, I've spent a lot of time talking about that. We talked at the beginning of the call about having a lot of parents of teens and middle school counselors, middle school teachers, etc. And one of the things that I've newly recognized is how important it is to teach my kids about frequent hygiene. So the Kid Sense products and the other Young Living products, especially for teens, are just fabulous at nourishing your hair, at not coating your scalp with a lot of the harsh chemicals that it can actually be troublesome for your neurological system. These products do not have that same effect because they're straight from God's creation, from plants. So that is my experience with healthy hair. My kids took the Young Living products to camp with them. We love them so much.
I love that. I'm so sorry that you had a testimonial about this, but I'm thankful that you shared, because this is something that all moms need to know. Just in the chat box, you guys can see some already testimonials coming in on this topic. I want to encourage you to go ahead and check through some of those great tips about how to do use them for this. And I think what you were saying about educating is so crucial, because sometimes that's really where sharing these tips with other moms who are going through this, offering to run them some samples, having some of those things on hand for these. Sleepy time is one of the things that I talk to moms about the absolute most. And so I know that I didn't mention my grandchildren in my introduction. I only mentioned the 14 kids I have at home, or the 14 kids I had at home when I started Young Living, now down to 7 adult children, married children, grandchildren. Sleepy time is this thing that everybody needs. All moms need good sleep. All kids need good sleep in order to be able to learn and stay healthy. Our body does a lot of healing overnight, and it makes a really great part of a routine. Some other things that you can do on top of oils are like shutting down your screens early, making sure your phones are in airplane mode or placed very far away from your body, making sure your room is dark and has limited disruptions, things like that are all still very crucial. Diffusing for sleepy time, Epsom salt bath with any of these oils, also amazing. Diffusing for sleepy time is just like that tip and trigger in my brain that we're going to go ahead and get started relaxing our bodies, relaxing our minds. So I use this owl diffuser in all of my kids' bedrooms. And the very first time I got it, so my one son, he's very diligent with diffusers, goes around every morning, fills them all up, does the same at night. And I came down that next morning and I heard, I thought they had left an iPad on TV overnight down in this little tent they'd made. It wasn't, it was their owl diffuser. They had gone upstairs, brought it down and put it in the tent so that they had the good smelling stuff to be sleepy as well. So some of my favorites are Sleepy Eyes. I use it myself. My kids use it. I put it in my diffuser. I know it has a carrier oil in, just clean your diffuser a little bit more. Rub cedarwood at the bottom of the feet. Oh, I love frankincense. I didn't even put this in the slide, but I love frankincense on the top of my head in the starter kit. Just a really great one. You can make a spray with any of these, mist your pillows. I like to add a little bit of Himalayan salt or a little bit of witch hazel, something in there to make it dry a little bit faster so your sheets aren't wet. But these oils, when they're diffused, when they're applied to your body, they work with our limbic system to help not just our brain relax, but help our emotional state, calm our minds. And they just have so much great benefits for sleep and for other health purposes. And so these are my favorites. I highly recommend. I do love the oil for me, and I have the white one in my room. That's how we know it's mom's. So Snowy the Owl is beautiful. Both are available. You can get feather free this month. We're going to talk about freebies and how they align perfectly with back to school in just a second. Can I get the next slide? All right, Allie, I'm going to pass this to you.
Awesome, sure. So we are all looking for ways to save money. It is just the way of the world right now, unfortunately, that with inflation hitting us all, we need to save some money. So one way to save money is to avoid needing to go to the doctor, and we have oils for that. But let's also now save money on those oils as we buy them. So many of you are already using oils. If you're brand new, we have a lot of starter bundles. One of them comes with the Owl diffuser and the Kids Scents collection. We also have a collection of 12 oils in a diffuser. All of those bundles are drastically discounted. So it is a fantastic way to start. It's just get a bundle, they're discounted. The second way to save money is loyalty rewards. This is an optional program. They can be canceled at any time. You're not signing up to give your children away or anything. And sorry, I've got this kitty who is just meowing. Sorry. So the loyalty reward system is that when you purchase anything through the loyalty program, which you can change every month, which you can change your date, change what you order, but when you order it under loyalty, you get a percentage back of everything you buy. So the first 3 months you're on it, you get 10% back. After 3 months, you get 20% back. And after 12 months, 24 months, sorry, I had a cat crawling on me. After 24 months, you get 25% back on everything you buy. So at this point now, we get $25 back for every $100 we spend that acts as cash with Young Living that I can go and buy whatever I wanted to buy. And then the last way to save money, or really to make money, is you will be like us. You will become obsessed with these products because they work. And you will therefore be like every other woman in the world who shares with people they care about that things that work for their family. And you might as well be the one to get paid on sharing that with them. So every single person has their own link with Young Living that they can share with friends and family or strangers on the street. and make an income from Young Living. It can be very casual, or it can replace an entire career. So with that, we would love to answer any questions if you'd like that. I'm going to stop sharing. See if I can get my computer to cooperate now.
Do you have a second to pop up that freebie slide?
Oh,
So we can, should we do that after the recording?
yeah, let's do that. Okay.